Welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Susan from Tiara Lace Crochet, and today I'd like to share with you how to crochet this really lovely textured border. It's not too difficult, but it does give a really lovely effect and edge to your project. Before we start, I would like you to prepare your work with just one round, a setup round of single crochets. If you're not quite sure how to do that, I'll leave a link in the description box below, and I'll just quickly explain. You just single crochet in each stitch all the way around and try and space out these single crochets down the side of whatever project you're putting the border around as evenly as you can. It doesn't really matter too much about a stitch count, just so long as your work lays flat and your stitches are evenly spaced. If you pop 3 single crochets in each corner, that will help with the design. And if you finish with an invisible join, because we're going to be working into front and back loops of these stitches. Right, let's begin with row 1 of the pattern for the border. For round 1 of the design, it might be helpful for you to snip 4 short lengths of yarn or get 4 stitch markers. We'll be placing them at each corner, and then if you have a slip knot and loop on your hook, we'll begin anywhere on the project with a standing single crochet in any stitch, but in the front loop. The work needs to be right side facing. This is the front loop, this is the back loop. Insert your hook under the front loop, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the 2. Now the remainder of the round need you to just front loop single crochet under every stitch. We don't increase in the corner. We just work 1 single crochet in the front loop of every stitch on the way round. This is our middle stitch here, so we go there with our front loop, single crochet, and this is the back loop just here. We can either pop a stitch marker in there, or you can just bring some yarn through, just so it's easier to know where we do our increase on the next round. It can be a little bit tricky locating that middle stitch. Okay, so go ahead, front loop, single crochet all the way around, popping stitch markers or yarn threads in the back loop of the middle stitch. So go ahead, complete this, and I shall meet you here. So just work under the last stitch of this round with the front loop single crochet. Then you go ahead, snip your yarn. I've already cut my yarn, and then just pull the yarn through like so. Then we're going to work an invisible join. So I've just threaded my needle off camera. So we're going to skip over the first standing single crochet we made, insert our needle under the top 2 loops of the next single crochet and pull the yarn, and then we're going to go back into the last single crochet underneath that back loop, and then just adjust the yarn to create a replica of the top of a stitch. So you have a front loop and a back loop. And if you just tilt your work, this is our last single crochet we made, and we can see there is a third loop for that last single crochet. Insert your needle in there, and then you can see that just evens things up really nicely. Then you just go ahead and weave in your ends. However, you need to be mindful that you don't obscure the back loops of the row below, because we need to work into those for round 2. So you can just literally pass your needle underneath the back loops and then weave in as normal. And the same goes for this tail end as well. Just pass it underneath that back loop. Right, I'll see you in a few moments. So that's the yarn ends tidied up. This is the top row, and as you can see, the little ridge is really giving some texture already. And if you just tilt it forward slightly, you can see all the back loops there, and that's what we're going to work into next. You can start in any back loop you prefer for round 2. Once again, we're going to start with a standing single crochet. So we have the work right side facing. I'm going to insert my hook underneath the back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's our very first single crochet. We go in this back loop again, single crochet in the next one, all the way to the corner. Once you reach the corner, work 3 single crochets into the corner. Then work a single crochet into all the remaining back loops right down to the next corner. So I think you get the idea. That's all there is to this round. So work your way all the way down to the next corner and work your 3 single crochets. Do this in every corner and down every side. Work your way all the way around, and I'll meet you here in the last stitch. So that's it, all the way down, up this side, across the top. I'll see you in a few minutes. So I've reached the end of round 2. I've already snipped my yarn and pulled it through, and once again I am going to finish with an invisible join, skipping over that first standing single crochet and working this invisible join like so. You can finish with a slip stitch join if you prefer. I'm going to go into the little third loop there, and then I'll just go ahead and weave in as normal. So once you've tidied up all those ends, we can start round 3. We're beginning with a standing double crochet. So begin with a slip knot and loop on your hook, yarn over, secure the yarn, and then insert your hook into the middle single crochet of the corner. Yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Chain 1 and double crochet back into the same corner stitch, and once again chain 1, double crochet back into the corner stitch, chain 1 and double crochet back into the corner stitch, and that's your corner completed. Now we're going to begin some crossed double crochets. The crossed double crochets will be worked over 3 stitches. We'll skip 2 and then double crochet into the next one, chain 1, and then we'll come back on ourselves. We'll always skip this one and then work a double crochet into that very first skip stitch. So yarn over, skip 1, 2, and double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, yarn over, come back on yourself and into that first skip stitch just there, work a double crochet. Then skip 1, 2. Be careful not to count this stitch because it's just been pulled across to the side there. So it's skip 1, 2, and we'll work into that third stitch across. Double crochet, chain 1, and then yarn over, come back, find that first skipped stitch and double crochet. Once again, skip 1, 2 into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1, come back on yourself and go into your first skipped stitch with a double crochet. Try not to work these double crochets too tightly and repeat all the way down the side. At the end of the side, you may find out your stitch count doesn't quite work out right. Don't worry. If you have to skip a stitch here and there, it really doesn't make that much difference. So go ahead, continue down the side, and I'll meet you at the corner. Surprisingly, the stitch count worked out just fine on this side. For the corner, we work a double crochet, then chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And that's our completed corner and side. And this is where we started. So we'll repeat this now down the next side. So we skip 1, 2 and repeat the cross double crochets. So I'll go ahead, work all the way down here and just see if I do end up with the right stitch count. If I don't, I'll be able to show you what we do. On this side, the stitch count hasn't worked out quite as well, but we're only 1 extra stitch here. We've got 1, 2, 3, and this little extra stitch there. I'm really not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go straight ahead, skip 2 and work the cross double crochets as normal. And then go straight ahead into this corner stitch here with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we just need one more chain 1 double crochet, and that will be absolutely fine. Just have a little look. We'll have a look at the work. You can see now that's one side, that's our other side, and this is where we started. So continue now down this side exactly the same way as you did here, and repeat the corner, and then come down here, and I'll meet you at this very last stitch. So I've just worked down another side, and I've got 1, 2, 3, and I've 2 extra. So what I'll do is I'll work over, I'll just skip 1 here and work into the next one with a double crochet. I'll still chain 1, come back on myself, and I'll skip back over 1, 2, and just go into this one here. I've already worked into it, it'll be fine. And then you have your 1, 2, 3, and go ahead as normal with your cross double crochet. It is really very forgiving, this little stitch there. Right, and then we just go again with the corner as normal, and I'll meet you here like I said before. To close round 3, we don't actually need to fasten off. We can just slip stitch into the top of the starting double crochet like so, and to begin round 4 we chain 1 and work a single crochet straight back into that stitch. Then we do a single crochet into the next stitch, and into the next stitch we work a single crochet, and then in this little 1 chain space here we can work 3 single crochets for our corner. And then we work a single crochet into the next double crochet, a single crochet into the chain space, and a single crochet into the next double crochet, and that completes our corner. Next, work a single crochet into your next stitch, and then into the chain space just here where the double crochets cross over, work a single crochet into the next stitch, and into the next stitch, and then work a single crochet into the space where they cross over, single crochet into the next 2, and then single crochet into the space, single crochet into the next 2, and so on, right down to the end of the row. And this is how it's looking. So go ahead and I'll meet you at the next corner. So at the next corner we just single crochet in the double crochet, single crochet in the chain space, single in the double crochet, and then we work 3 single crochets in the next chain space, single crochet in the double crochet, single crochet in the chain space, and single crochet into the double crochet, single crochet into the next stitch, and so on. Single crochet into the chain space between the cross double crochets, single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, single crochet into the next chain space, and so on, all the way down, and repeat. So now you know how the corners are worked and how you work down the sides. So this is where we started. So continue all the way across here, work your corner the same, down the sides, and all the way across here, and we'll look at how we fasten off just here. At the end of row 4 we need to fasten off, because for row 5 we'll be working into front loops only, so we need a nice finish where we can see the front and back loop of the stitches. So I'm just going to snip the yarn, pull it through, and then once again work an invisible join. If you have a look, this is where we pulled the yarn through just here. At the back you can see that little third loop. Just keep that in mind, so when we finish off the stitch you'll find it a little easier to fasten off. So we know that that was a building chain, and this is our first single crochet. So insert your needle under the top 2 loops of your next stitch, pull the yarn through. See if we can get in a little closer so you can see what I mean about that third loop. So if you then bring your needle back into the stitch you started in and just tilt your work, you'll be able to go straight into that third loop. Just makes it a little easier when you're more confident with this method of fastening off. And there's your lovely invisible join, and then just go ahead and weave in. So rows 6 and 7 are really just worked the same as rows 1 and 2. You can start with a standing single crochet anywhere you like on the project, but working into the front loop only. So I'll just quickly start you off. You just work your standing single crochet and then single crochet under the front loops all the way round, working just 1 single crochet even in the corners. And if you remember, if you pop a little stitch marker in the back loop of your corner stitch, it'll be easier for you to work your corner on row 7. So this is all there is to it. So go ahead and we'll work row 7 into these little back loops. So I've just quickly gone ahead down to the corner, popped the yarn in that back loop so we know where to work the corner, and then just continue working front loop single crochets all the way around. Sorry if I went off camera there. So just work all the way around and I'll meet you back here where we'll finish off with an invisible join and start working into the back loops for round 7 to complete the border. So here we are at the end of row 6. Just going to snip the yarn, pull it through, and once again finish with an invisible join, just like we did on round 1. Skipping over the first single crochet, just working into that 3rd loop, and fastening off. So I'll go ahead and weave in those ends and meet you to begin round 7. And just before I do that, just to remind you, work underneath these back loops, as we'll be working into those on row 7. So just bring your yarn underneath so we don't block these little stitches, or not block them, obscure or hide them. You can begin round 7 on any part of your project you wish. Just find the skipped back loops and work a standing single crochet into it, and then single crochet in each stitch down to the next corner. So here we are at the corner stitch, and we'll work 3 single crochets into the corner. Then work a single crochet into the remaining back loops all the way down to the next corner, where you'll work 3 single crochets. I think I've made that stitch a little loose, but not to worry. There we go. So that's the start of row 7. So continue all the way around, working single crochets into the back loops and then 3 into each corner all the way around, and I'll meet you when you reach here. So that brings us to the end of the final row, row 7. So I'm once again just going to finish with an invisible join, skipping over that first standing single crochet, going under the next stitch, and then back into the last single crochet we made, going underneath the 3rd loop, and now I'll just weave in off camera. So that completes this lovely textured border. I'll just get the original panel. This one is actually worked in a DK cotton yarn. I can't quite remember the name of the make of the yarn, but it works up really lovely with lots of different yarns. So I'd just like to thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. In the meantime, take care. And I'll see you